Hello, welcome. I'm Carol DeChaine, and this month I'm talking about the summer of love. Last week we talked about the love basics because I wanted to get you on board with who I am and what's going on. And this week I'm going to talk about the different types of love because sometimes we just think love is love. Hey, I love you. And then there's the passionate kind of love. But really, we seem, and I talked about it last week, this conditional love that we have is okay, I love you only this much. I love you only that much. So we might have a friend we don't feel close to, and we don't really call it love, but we care about them. And then there's our closest friends that we have this love for that friend. But we don't want to have sex with them or anything. They're our dear friends. There's that kind of love. And then there's the kind of love that we have for parents, for our children. Some people would, they'd kill for their children. They do anything for their children. They're a parent. There's that kind of love. And then there's the kind of love that's like a sibling love. There's also the kind of you love them, but you don't get along with them. And there's a lot of people like that. There's also, of course, the spousal, hopefully the soulmate kind of love as well. And I have a whole podcast on soulmates under Living Your Limitless Life with Carol Allen, where she talks about our soulmates and what that means and how to get them and how to do it online and all that kind of stuff. So there is that kind of love as well. And we look at how we feel about different people and we kind of judge it. We call it, kind of quantify it. I love, if you think about it, now most people just love, they don't really think about it. But if you look back at the different kinds of, say, romantic interest love you have, you can kind of say, well, yeah, I'm judging this one. That one was a crush. I was like I was in school and I thought he was fabulous or she was fabulous and I was madly in love with them, but that wasn't really love. That was just I had a crush on him. And then you might look later in life, maybe you start going, oh, what a dear person. I have this warm fuzziness about them, but I'm not madly in love with them. But maybe you married that person because maybe you had an arranged marriage if it was back further and you went, or maybe it's a cultural thing as well. And you got used to somebody. You kind of love them after a while, but it's not that. And then there's the passionate, oh my God, I can't think straight kind of love, which sometimes that blows over. And that's why there are divorces. You madly love, think it's fabulous, can't wait to spend your life with them, and then after a month or two, you go, "Oh my God, what was I thinking?" Or hopefully it's more like a year or two, or three or seven, and you say, "Hmm." And you look at the different types of love. If you're anything over 20, you look back and you think, "Look at the different types I had." And then when you get to one that you consider to be the real love of your life, you go, "This is different. This feels different. Is this just a different type? Or is this the real thing?" Let me tell you that all of those love, if we feel them inside of us, are the real thing. Sometimes we do put those conditions on things where I'll love you if, I'll love you when. Those kind of love are very humanistic kind of love. They're not, there's the kind of love that just is. And if you meditate or you take that moment just to go, oh, and you are in the present moment, and I did a video about that a little bit back. If you're in that present moment and you allow that love to come to you, if you connect to your highest source that you can connect to, whether it's God, your higher self, whether it's Buddha or whoever you connect to, you feel that love flowing through you. And once we feel that, we realize that we don't really feel that kind of love as a human being very often. I think the closest is when you love your children, just when they're babies, when they're first born, you have that unconditional feeling of love. When they get personalities and they poop and they pee and all those things, some people don't have the capability and the bandwidth to be able to love them at the same depth, or they do, but they can't deal with it as a human level, and that's different. But that specific feeling at the beginning, that open-hearted, open-handed almost kind of love where you're going, oh, yes, I feel it. That's the kind of love that makes the planet shift and change and grow and be better, makes you better, and makes you be your best self because you become kinder. And love in general is a higher vibrational love, but the kind of love now that I'm talking about, that love that kind of transcends, it's got peace as part of the element. It's not the anxious, oh, I love you, I love you. It's the love that has the peace and the joy in it. It's all kind of wrapped up together. So when I say I want you to find your joy, love is also part of that. So go ahead and think for a moment if you've ever felt that kind of love, that connection that maybe it usually comes from, I would say above, but not inside or however you feel it. It's something that really, really gets deep into your being. It's not conditioned upon anyone around you. And if you can stay connected to that, your whole being will shift. You'll feel more love in general for everyone. You'll have more peace. You'll have more hope about how your life will turn out. And you'll attract people that love easier, that are attracted to people who can love this way. And all those difficult, heavy things, the anger, the fear, all those things will feel almost disconnected when you stay connected. Little rhyme there. So you'll allow those things to, the worry, the fear, the angst, the guilt, all those things won't be there when you feel connected. You can always pick them up again if you want them because they may be part of your life and it may take a little more than that to release them. But you can. Breathe into that wonderful feeling of love and know that there are all different types of love. That one does transcend being human. It helps you be a better human, but doesn't mean that any of the other types of love aren't good either. The conditional ones are harder to live with. They're harder because if you have a spouse who doesn't do anything but sit in a lump on the couch, they won't get up, they won't cook, they won't clean, they won't help with the kids, they won't, earn, maybe they won't even earn money, they won't take the garbage out, whatever it may be, those things are conditional loving. That can be a time when you decide you need more, or maybe you connect in more and you become more love yourself. And then it spills over, and maybe that person shifts because they feel differently. They feel appreciated and loved more than when you were thinking, oh, if you weren't this way, I'd die. And if you weren't this way, because you've opened and you shifted yourself. And when you shift and you find a little bit more of this love in yourself, that higher kind of love, you'll be surprised how people react around you. Job may shift. Your spouse may shift. Your kids, who may be difficult from time to time, they may shift. You never know. All sorts of possibilities may open for you just from connecting to a higher type of love. Love in any form can be a really fun thing to have, but it can also be a little anxious, a little anxiety ridden, a little worry, a little fear. But the highest form of love doesn't have any of that in it. So if you've touched it before, know you can do it again, however you did it the first time, but allow yourself to deserve it. Allow yourself to love yourself because that will make you feel like you deserve it. When you connect and you feel that deeper love coming from above or outside of yourself or inside of yourself or however you feel it coming to you, breathe into it. Once you feel it, you can feel it again. Thank you for joining me here today. Next week, we're going to talk about what are you looking for when it comes to love. I'm Carol DeChaine. Again, my business is Connect to Joy. You can find my website information and also how to connect to me in the comments. If you like what you hear, please do subscribe and click on the bell notification. And if you want to hear more, besides a lot of other, the Joy Corner on YouTube, which is I Am Affirmations and meditations, guided visualizations, they're all there. And there's also a podcast called Living Your Limitless Life, which I host every Wednesday, some with guests and some on my own. Please listen there as well if you have any interest. You can hear it just about anywhere, Apple, iTunes, Google Play, Pandora, all those different ones, Stitcher. Until next week, remember you can have love in your life. It can be easy. You can let go of the worry and the fear and all those other things and know that you are lovable. It may take a therapist sometimes to get there. It may take a life coach, but we can also do it. Know that you can, and then follow the path that feels like it's the best for you when it comes to getting from here to where you want to be. Until next week.